we are able to see these things in a better context and realize that we can build AI solutions for rural Africa as well, right? And people are not thinking about rural Africa because no one understands rural Africa like we do. We may have an aunt in the village with connectivity issues, and so we'll think about offline models with a better sense of acknowledging that that needs to be sorted out as well. And so those are the key stuff. And it's exciting to see startups that come through BongoHive being able to build such solutions that are meeting African needs. We've seen startups like Dawa Health reaching the maternal mom right in their home to provide advice, and that's saving many unborn children's lives. And those are the stories we emulate. Those are the stories we love to be part of in creating.
Thank you so much, Mapalo. The next question will be to Maria Laws. Maria, you are country lead at Alliance for AI, and I'm sure you worked with a lot of Africans who are also developing AI solutions. What do we lose when we only import AI instead of building our own AI solutions?
Aluchi, thank you so much for this critical question. You know, I had an experience last year where I was asked to support a group of women who were farmers, agripreneurs across Zimbabwe. And they wanted to learn about how AI could help them with their businesses. And it became very clear, very much right away, that although there were some things I could teach them in terms of maybe on the business end about how they could analyze our spreadsheets or maybe search for grants, etc. But when it came to the critical part of actually using AI to help support them when they were diagnosing issues with their animals, when they were thinking about different tillage methodology or trying to track weather systems that would impact when they could plant or when they could harvest, there was no data set available in Zimbabwe to make that actually happen. And it became very clear that we needed to find someone closer that could help us in some way develop a data set so that they could actually utilize the full impact. If we're trying to design AI for good, it has to be designed by the folks that are actually using it within their context. And that particular experience was so powerful to me about what partnerships mean, but also how they always must be centered in the communities in which they are going to live. And Mapalo, as you mentioned, we often have this sort of bias around what's happening in big city concerns, but every area can benefit from AI if we build them with that in mind. And the we is the people that will use them. The other thing I was thinking about is I was reading this study recently about even something as small as how answers are framed reflect the values of the folks that built them. And one of the studies I was reading was about a more Western or maybe American values on the individual. So even when you're asking basic questions of, say, a large language model, I know that's just one aspect of AI, but it's going to reflect those values, which can be very off-putting if that is not the community style of which that you're in. And the reason why I mention this is that even if you never see yourself as a builder, you will be utilizing things that are utilizing AI. And we cannot get the benefit if our data is not a part of it. And if we don't trust the answers we're getting, we won't use it. So it's like we have to be engaged in it at a community level to get the community impact in every aspect. And I'm very excited that what BongoHive is trying to do is really ensure at every level that AI is being built for and by the very people it will serve.
Thank you, Maria. The next question would be to Fumi. Fumi is also a member of the Africa AI Council thematic working groups on AI, use cases, and compute infrastructure. In this capacity, she has successfully onboarded some of Africa's leading compute providers onto the African GPU hub powered by Udutech, further strengthening access to high-performance computing across. For me, what has been the biggest challenge slowing AI builders and innovators in Africa?
Biggest challenge, that question is, because they're quite a number, right? But from where I sit is really access to GPUs, and access is the word access is it could include physical access, it could include economic access. It's not when we say access, people just say, oh, but the GPUs are, you can just go to the cloud and rent them. Yes, maybe they are somewhere, maybe they are not. I mean, I'll go to the physical access of this question of my response in a bit, but I'll talk about the economic access, right? How affordable the options on the market, how affordable are they? For the average young African who is innovative and wants to build something, how affordable is the compute that's available to them, right? So we can talk about access in different ways, but the first one really is the economic access. What's available to them economically? What can they afford? And that's one of the reasons why, or the issues, better still, that plague the African AI innovator. As most people on the call, or I don't know, a number of people might know, about 1% of the world's global compute capacity is in Africa. Only 1%. And when you compare that with the population of Africa, we're 19% of global population. And so you can see such disparity in the availability of compute. And that leads me to the next issue that I would really zone in on when it comes to access, is physical access. Um, and that's where you have very few of these facilities, the GPU facilities, are hosted on the continent. Yes, we have access to the cloud GPUs, but when you consider latency in the operation of GPUs, because again, when it is cloud, there would be a form of latency, and the latency is usually due to distance. Um, Compared to the people who have GPUs very close to them, the latency in Africa is quite high. So what are the issues? What are primary issues? One is the cost of compute. The other is the physical access to compute, to like the physical infrastructure. And it's off the top of my head, that's why I'm happy to be here, right? I'm very happy to be having this conversation with this team and working on this partnership, because what it implies is now innovators in Zambia and across the continent really can have access to affordable compute via Africa GPU Hub. And also, and like people who, okay, I mean, if I buy the GPU, where am I going to put them? They now have, you buy the GPUs, don't worry, we'll get them online for you. And then we would also, I mean, you also get some revenue, some return on investment based on that. So it just makes sense that um, overall, the overarching problem, which is access in any shape, way, and form, that issue, we can solve it holistically without leaving any side of the pool out. Like whether it is cost, whether it's the physical access, everything comes together and we can solve it in one go rather than solve it in silos. Yeah, so I think that's the way I'd put it. I think, yeah, one of the primary issue that's plaguing African innovators, especially in the AI space, is access.
So can you summarily answer what can African builders do now with Africa GPU Hub?
What can African builders do now with African GPU Hub? You can build,
Because
right?
before explained challenges. So what can we access now with Africa GPU Hub?
Yeah. So I was going to break that down a bit. What can you do is, first of all, you can build. And this is very important because what Africa is used to is consuming. So we take the technology from everywhere else. It doesn't matter where it comes from, really. But we take it from everywhere else and we consume it. And we do very well at consuming. Some of the greatest influencers on YouTube, TikTok, some of them are from Africa, right? So we do very well with consuming. But when the question of what can African builders do right now with Africa GPU up, my response would be now you can build. So you don't have to just consume what's available. You can start building. And now it is affordable than it would have been, say, last year or 2 years ago. It's more affordable for you to build. It is more, in fact, right now, people are out there looking out for the people, African builders who are actively building. And now the cost to build is drastically reduced compared to what it is before. So what can African builders do? Really, you can build. So you can access the GPU on the platform, which over the course of this call will be demoed. Very simple steps, very simple process. You can access it and you can start building. You can build a chatbot. You can build an autonomous system. You can build right now. And that's the impact, the importance of what we're doing right now, the impact of this call that we're having is the fact that we're now showing you, we're not really just telling you, oh, don't worry, you can go ahead and do it. Now we're showing you how to do it. And we're also giving you the tools to do it so you do not have any excuse anymore. So you can build. And I think that's like, even if you don't remember anything that I said in all my responses, remember that now no excuses anymore. You can absolutely go ahead and build whatever it is that you want to build, especially when it turns to artificial intelligence on the continent.
Thank you very much, Fumi. I'm sure we will all remember every single thing you have said. Okay, so we're going to be taking questions from the audience shortly, right after one or two questions, which will be the last for our panelists. Fumi will be taking the floor after now, but the one question would go to Maria Laws. And that would be, what opportunities can Zambia unlock with stronger AI infrastructure?
Thank you so much for that question, Lucci. You know, again, my background is in working with young people. And I feel like this is the big space for us when we think about what can access to compute do for innovation in general, is to invite our young people to see themselves as builders, as innovators right now, not later, not when they get their degree or when they've got more experience. Right now, they have the idea, they have the momentum and motivation. And now that bottleneck that Funmi so eloquently talked about, we can shift it. And I think for me, working particularly with young people, when you see yourself as supporting them as being innovators right now versus later, things happen. And I have had folks as young as 14 create things that have actually here in the US been pushed all the way to the federal government to actually scale at a city level. That was not what my lesson plan was. That was not what I was thinking about for that content area. But because the culture we had in the room was, this is for now, we can do this right now, it changed what students saw themselves to be and what was possible for them in order to support their communities right now. And I think for me, that's what I'm thinking of. I know this is not just for our young folks, but they often feel like they're waiting. They're waiting to be in the club, but they're here right now and they have the ideas to move forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Maria. Mapalo, why did BongoHive decide to support Africa GPU Hub in Zambia? What opportunity that's opening?
That's just to appreciate all the wisdom coming out from Maria and coming out from Funmi around just how it's critical to have the community people building for their problems, right, and solving those solutions, and just like building with this technology that's being presented to us. What caught our attention with Alliance for AI and Odoo Technologies and what's happening today was that as we have been exploring our environment and understanding the needs that we have, developers, non-tech people also have, GPU access was at the top of the challenges that we knew we definitely have as a country, right? It's knowledge that is also known by players like the Ministry of Technology, which is the government wing of our ecosystem. It's also known in the academia space. And so we have been actively looking for solutions to solve compute challenges, right? And what's impressive is that whereas Odoo Technologies is doing this and pushing this and has been doing this, we are literally seeing GPUs that are being positioned in Zambia, right? This is actual NVIDIA GPUs that will be located on Zambian soil. And this is creating a system where we've got Africa coming together, connecting their GPUs, right, all together, right? It's not just a cloud access and the GPU is somewhere in Alaska. For us, that was something that caught our attention because this is actual GPUs being positioned right here on Zambian soil. And that really is a critical step in the right direction. One of the things you have seen, and it's not just happening in Zambia, but it's also, we've seen these indicators in India, we've seen it in the US, where countries are becoming more aware of the importance for sovereignty of data. What that definitely means is that protecting data that is critical and that might be considered private data, like health data, banking data, data around people's financials on their actual soil, right? And this is actually actively sitting under the office of the Data Protection Commission in Zambia, that there's certain data that must stay on African soil, right, on Zambian soil. But the absence of us having GPUs is actually a problem, because how do big organizations scale with processing power, or even small organizations and developers building to solve for their community when we don't have the infrastructure? So we may have laws in place, but they are not enforceable. They cannot be audited because there is no GPU infrastructure. But with this, we're a step closer to seeing more enforceability of the law, because now no one can give an excuse to say, hey, there's no GPU, that's why I'm shipping it all the way to another country, right? But when we do have GPUs here, we can be able to say, hey, we need to protect the integrity of our data, our sovereignty. So let us be able to adhere to the laws being put in place to protect us. And so those are some of the constitutions, on the policy side and the practical side as well, that we were drawn to as BongoHive AI Lab. And also just how exciting it is for our developers in the nation to know that, look, I don't have to wait to afford expensive GPU outside. I can begin to build my small language model today. I can pitch a solution to a sector in the country today, like the tech sector, the agriculture sector, the mining sector, sectors that build Zambia's productivity, right? You can pitch that and know that you can deliver to standard because you actually have access to infrastructure that would take you a long way. So those are some of the things that really gave us a great opinion and jumped on board to bring this to life. So that's really where we are. Thanks for that question.
So summarily, AI solutions by Africans for Africans. Awesome. Okay, so we'll be taking questions from members of the audience. Feel free to put your questions in the chat box, or you can put them in the chat box and then we'll take them, just one or two, and then we'll go on to our demo, which Fumi will be handling for us. Can we have the questions? Mapalo, can you access the questions from your...
There are questions in the Q&A.
Okay. Okay. I can't seem to.
Can I help you read the questions in the Q&A?
Yes, please, if you can.
So the first question that we have is from Nsondo Mahachi. It says the performance of AI is now on how you have been training it to answer and solve your problems. How can you train AI to be given prompt? Teach me on AI commanding. So it looks like the more direction towards teaching on prompting and AI commanding. Can I read that again, or you got it?
Okay, so I think Mapalo can take that question.
All right. So one of the things I'll say is that you can follow our socials for you to be informed when we are putting out trainings and opportunities to learn in the space. That's one way you can get access to learning. So we keep an active social media presence as BongoHive, and that's somewhere where you can be able to like follow us and be able to just maybe ensure that you have us as highlighted so that you can be able to get notifications when we post, so that you can see things that fit your need. I think that's what my response is in terms of learning. We will be putting out programs specifically towards AI learning, especially with such initiatives being launched today. There's certain specific trainings that we're interested to put out. For example, trainings we have in mind is training devs on how they can actually model small language models using the resources that have been made available. Maybe also just skipping to the next question. I believe maybe Funmi will be able to answer Andrew Nkata's question. But I think I want to answer Joseph's question, because Joseph you mentioned that GPUs are based in the African locations, but thoroughly going through Apex marketing site, I noticed that your instances are not on the African demographic. Some are Europe, North and South America. Doesn't that contradict your claims? What I will speak to, Joseph, is that we are having two GPUs being positioned on Zambian soil. Some of the specs are that there's 6,000 Blackwell. That's what I can at least say for now. But they're being positioned and they're going to be placed on Zambian soil. So we're doing this launch now, and there's already commissioned GPUs. So one of the things that you will know is that as you interact with the processing, you will be able to know how you're using the GPU processors on local soil. Some of the things that when it comes to allocation, when it comes to these platforms, is that you can actually be able to pick where you want to process from. So to know where a contradiction, but it also shows that there's a willingness for others to collaborate, but you will still have the ability to ensure that you are processing on local soil. That's one of the key things that you will be able to do as a particular person on the platform.
Yeah, and Joseph, once you sign up to Africa GPU Hub and you log in, you should be able to see real African AI solutions being built. So just wait till the end. If you can, you're one of the lucky ones to access, you will be able to see those. The next question would be from Andrew, and his question is, and that one is for you, for me. Does African GPU Hub provide GPUs for sale, or are they offering it as a SaaS at reduced prices?
Okay, great question, Andrew. And I'll probably still touch on Joseph's question, but to respond to Andrew, Africa GPU Hub is doing both. We're playing again. It's an holistic approach to solving the access to compute problem, or issue, better still, on the continent. So Africa GPU Hub is a GPU as a service platform where you can go and rent GPUs based on your need. Some people do not need to buy the and host them in their homes or their offices. However, some people need to. If let's say you're a banking institution or your health institution, most likely you would want to host it so that you can be in control of whatever data you're putting out. And so Africa GPU Hub can facilitate the trade. We can help you buy and ship it down to your location across the continent. And also for AI engineers, innovators who are really just coming to train their data, you can have access to the GPUs that you need for as long as you want, actually. Sometimes, most times, the training is done in a few hours. Sometimes it could take days. And so the on the platform, you can get GPUs for as long as you want. And it is at least 30% cheaper than what you get on traditional cloud platforms. So we're solving the problem of access or the issue of access on both the rental side of things, as GPU as a service side of things, and people who want to own their own GPU infrastructure. So you have access now to own it and host it internally instead of waiting for long and just getting access to all that's available on the cloud, right? So yeah, we're playing on both sides of the issue of the problem, because again, this is an holistic approach to solving the compute problem.
Thank you very much.
Just to touch on Joseph's question. So Joseph, if you go on the Africa GPU Hub platform, you see that there are GPUs hosted in Lagos and in Cape Town, and there are also GPUs hosted outside the continent. Now, as we mentioned earlier, Africa is now beginning to come up with the GPU infrastructure side of things. 1% of compute capacity is on the continent right now, as I speak to you. So the question is, or the answer, or the situation on ground, better still, is that there are no GPU infrastructures. There is, but it's so limited, so minimal. And for us to solve the access issue, we need to right now still get from outside the continent and host them at a price that's way more affordable than you get in traditional cloud platforms. So we're still getting to that point where a lot of the GPUs that will be hosted on the Africa GPU Hub platform will be based in Africa, but we are not there yet. And that's why this webinar is also very important, because now you are now aware of the problem, so you can become part of the solution, right? Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much, Mapalo. Great job. Thank you, Maria. And also Fumi. Fumi, we will have to leave you so you can get started with the demo, and then we can conclude the webinar after now. Thank you so much for your questions. Have a great webinar ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to Mapalo. Thank you to Maria. And our very able moderator, Oluchi. Thank you so much. We are at the point where I think most people are interested in, where they get to see a live demonstration of how to access GPUs on the GPU Hub, the Africa GPU Hub, and how to also do some form of training or access to open source large language model like Olama. And so without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen right now and walk everyone through the process. I'll share my full screen just so, because I'll be moving between tabs as needed. So and so if you stay till the end of this, Oluchi has a gift for you. And she'll be sharing with you the gift at the end of the demo, just so people who want to get their feet dirty can immediately get access to what they need to do that. So When you go to Africa GPU first of all, the way to do it, please, can anyone confirm if they can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. We are seeing the dashboard for GPU Hub, but we can also see your Zoom minimal screen on the right.
Oh, okay. Let me do this then, just so it doesn't affect it. Okay. So I'm logging out of the platform right now just to show you. It's a very simple sign up process. You put your email, um, you sign up, basically normal sign up process, your name, email, password, you create an account. And afterwards, when you sign in onto the platform, you can go ahead and load your wallet. So right now, my wallet is all loaded, but if the moment you sign up and you're in, your wallet would say zero, because basically there's no money in there. And so you had to add funds. You can either add with your card, and the way the platform has been built is you can use your local currency. So if, let's say, you are in Zambia, for instance, okay, now Zambia has not been listed, but over time, Zambia would be one of the countries on the platform. And so what will happen is, say I'm in Nigeria, I can pay in Naira instead of paying in USD. And so that's one of the peculiarities of the platform. You're allowed to pay in your local currency instead of paying strictly in dollars. And so you had the money you want to pay, your account to be debited, and your wallet to be funded with the same tune of amount that you've added. For the purpose of this call, I'd also walk us through one part of this funding that most people might use after this call when Oluchi shares the gift with you. It's you get coupon code that you can use. So say the coupon code is what? Say BongoHive, $20. By the time you input the coupon code here, what happens then is you the amount for the coupon code, when you redeem it, that your wallet will be funded to the tune of that amount. So now I have a funded wallet almost at $4, and I'm going to go to instances and create a new instance. So it says rent new instance. Right now you have rented GPUs in Cape Town and in Lagos. The ones in Cape Town are fully rented, but the ones in Lagos are available for renting. But I'm going to use one of the very, very cheap ones from our partner GPU Marketplace. And that's for the purpose of this call. And the reason I'm also using the very cheap ones is not because I cannot pay for the expensive ones. It's to show the use case for that I'm sure would apply to most African builders. We don't have the luxury of having like $10,000, $20,000 at our disposal for compute, right? And so most times people have, say, $100, $50, and they still want to build something, right? And with Africa GPU Hub, the promise, really, the unique promise that we're making to everyone who comes on the platform is no matter how small your budget is, you have something that will fit into it. So these are GPUs that if you were based in Nigeria, I'm not sure what the conversion in the Zambia currency is. Maybe Mapalo can chime in here. But if you were based in Nigeria, this will cost less than 1,000 naira. Like this GPU will cost less than 1,000 naira. And that's like it's not even up to what you spend to get a meal, right? It's less than what you spend to get a plate of food. So it's actually ridiculously cheap. And so I'm using one of these cheap ones just so you see that whatsoever your budget is, you really do not have any excuse to not begin to build. And so my personal wallet is funded. And okay, another thing to note here is that it's possible that you can create an organization. Say you have a team of people who want to use the platform. It's possible that you create an organization and fund the organization wallet. It will appear here, and that cash that you're funded with, you can distribute to your team members based on their need. So it doesn't have to be, say, your own personal wallet. It could be an organization wallet. And these are all organizations that are under my account that you can see. And so that's also possible on the platform. So confirm and rent. And so with the platform, you get to cook, quote and unquote, or create a virtual machine that only you have access to. So that also answers the question of data sovereignty, where nobody can access your VM on any occasion, not even we who are managing the platform, right? The owners of the platform. We cannot access your VM. After creating a VM, the key is unique to just you. Only you can see what you've created, only you can see your data. No one has access to your data. But you have to download this key and ensure that it is saved on your machine. Then afterwards, a few minutes and this VM will be ready. A few minutes to seconds, actually. But let's go to your command prompt at this point. Now, some people who, especially if you're beginner and you do not have, this is your first time trying to SSH into a VM or trying to access a GPU, whatever the case is. I'm walking you through this whole process as someone who has never done this before. And so you'd go to your directory on your machine and create an SSH profile. Let me just show you quickly how that works. So you go to your PC and you go to your local disk and you go to the user that's your access. Some people have multiple users on their platform. So you go to the user that you're trying to, for that at that point in time, the user you're in. Right now, I'm inside a user called Oluwafumilayo, or better still, Fumilayo, and you create a .ssh folder. After creating this folder, you would, through your command window, move your file, that special file that you downloaded from the platform. You will, through your command window, move your file into the .ssh folder, and I'm going to show you how shortly. Now, you need to run your command prompt as an administrator so that you have total control of your full machine. And you don't have like administrator access not allowed, all those kind of errors. But I must mention at this point that if you encounter any errors while going through the process, ChatGPT is actually your friend, right? And in this case, I'd say that as much as it depends on you, just copy the error and take it to ChatGPT or Gemini or Cloud, whatever LLM or whatever chat interface you're very comfortable with. Just take it there, because those machines or those softwares have more information than anyone can give you at this point in time. And so, yeah, so this is the command prompt that you'd be using. And as you can see, the VM is ready. You have the IP address that's unique to you, by the way. It's a private IP, and it's ready to be SSH'd into. And so from here, what I like to do is to avoid typing in these like the details of the VM, the IP address, where you are likely to make mistake if you type in. I have a document that I've created, and this also we could share with the team after the call, or the group after the call. A very simple, easy to use document. It also has some of the errors that you might encounter while doing this, going through this process. I need to hurry up, but I really just like to explain just so the people understand. So please, I hope everyone is following. Can I see some thumbs up if I've not lost people? Thumbs up, please. Um, can I see some thumbs up? I can't see anybody doing anything. Okay, now I can see it. Okay, I have the infinity screen now. Okay, so back to the issue. I'm happy that I've not lost people. Thank you so much. So stay with me till the end, please. Stay with me. So quickly, I have my VM running, and as you can see, everything plus the estimated storage cost still costs less than $1 for an hour. And so if let's say I have say $10 loaded in my account, I can wonderfully use that for at least 7 hours of training for this VM running back to back for 7 hours, right? And that's really, I'm telling you, it's a very sweet point. I would not lie to you because I've used other platforms and I see how they work. But yeah, let's quickly get into it. Now we have the name of the when you click on these three buttons, you see SSH instructions, and it shows you the name of the file, connection instructions, and all whatnot. I will just pick the name of this file, right? I just pick the name of the file here, and I'll come to this my beautiful document that I've created, and I'm going to change the name of the file here because I want to use the command directly. I don't want to have to be typing it in. I want to just copy and paste. So I'll change the name of the file on everywhere that has that file name, just so that I can just copy the command and paste it at the end of the day. Okay. Okay. And then for the IP address, because the IP address is also unique, I'd copy it and just paste it here. All the commands, by the way, all the commands I'll be using for this demo are right here in this document, which is why I'll be more than happy to share with anyone who needs it, who wants to get their feet dirty, and this would like be a good point of reference for you. I'd be so happy to share the document with you. So now we're going back to our command window. Now we have all the commands that we need to access the VM that we have created. We have all the commands that we need right here. And so we'll get started. The first one, I'm going to own the file that I downloaded. So that's the command and enter. You can see the success prompt that that file is now owned by this user on the platform. The next one, give yourself access to the file. Okay, and that was successfully done too. The next one is to copy that file from your download folder and put it in your .ssh folder. You remember the .ssh folder that we created earlier? I think I skipped a step. Let me see. No. Okay, there's an issue there. It's saying that it cannot find my file. So I need to do this again. Okay, I see the issue. I made a mistake while copying. So again, that's why basically you want to prepare your all the your prompt before you start doing it, because one small mistake and you're just tired. Like, what have I done wrong? Okay, and so now I was able to copy it successfully, and yeah. So now I'm SSHing, and it's asking me if I want to continue connecting, and the answer is yes. And they've added the IP address because again, it's a private IP address, so it will tell you it doesn't know it and ask you if you want to continue to connect to the IP address, and your answer should be yes. Please, your answer should be yes. If you say no, it will not connect. Okay, and now I'm inside the VM that I've created, and this is taking, apart from the process that I'm walking everyone through, it's taking less than 5 minutes to do all of this with the just adding the commands and everything. And so you can now check what VM it is, and we're just going to run um, a very simple command afterwards. So now it's showing you, this is the NVIDIA machine that you've connected to. It's showing you all the details of this machine. And so we're going to go ahead to install Olama, which is an open source large language model. Now it is downloading Olama for my machine, and you can see, and now we're done, 100% done, and the Olama is already installed on the virtual machine that I created. You can go ahead to verify what version the Olama is and all whatnot, but I'm going to skip all that process and just go straight to interacting with the open source LLM. And what I'll just do is, what is the situation of blockchain in Zambia? Okay, blockchain technology. I mean, it's I don't think it's any big deal. I just, yeah. Oh no. Blockchain technology, just so it doesn't make any mistake. Technology. I don't think it'll make a mistake anyways. Just me wanting to do it. Yeah. And so, okay. No, that's not what I meant. Okay, let me run one more command first before I ask. Right? Olama has been installed, but let me run one more command. That's to run Llama 3, for Olama to run Llama 3 just before, yes, just before I ask that question. Again, I'm trying to skip a lot of things for consideration of time, but when you have access to this document, you see all the prompts there, and you can follow stepwise without missing anyone, and you get like the full thrill of the process. Okay, now we've pulled the Llama 3 model the um, into the VM, and we can now go ahead and ask our beautiful question: what is the situation of blockchain technology in Zambia? Okay, And as you can see, it is connected to the large language model. And this is something that it is now giving me what it knows based on all the information that it has access to. And this is not coming through, say, it's not coming through ChatGPT. Now, this is me hosting my own open source model, and this also can be fine-tuned. And you can use this, go ahead to use this and create a chatbot for your organization, for your probably for your health organization, your financial organization, or what have you, whatever your use case is. This is really a very simple way to connect into an open source large language model and fine tune that large language model to suit your use case. So now, again, you have access to very cheap GPUs that you can go ahead to use to achieve this. And you also have access to how to go about it. So it is no longer far-fetched. The whole process is no longer far-fetched. You have everything right now that you need at your fingertips to ensure that you can build. So with that, I've come to the end of my demo. And I would hand over to Oluchi at this point. Oluchi, please, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Fumi. That was a great job. I'm going to bring Mapalo back on so he can pick it up from here. I'm sure okay, yes, I see that you have shared the QR code on screen. So please, if you have not.
Oluchi, just to, there's somebody who's made.
Do that right.
Sorry, did I interrupt you?
Oh, no, please go ahead.
Okay, there's someone who made a comment in the Q&A session that I'd like to I'd just like to speak to shortly. So yes, I understand that you could do it. You can even do it via your VS Code editor. But I'm working people. I basically prepared demo for people who have no idea how to go about it. Like, you have no idea. You've never done. You've never SSH before. And most people would not know what the bash terminal is, but they will know where their command window is, right? That's how come we went through this process. And so if you are used to it and you have a better method, of course you don't have to go through all of that. You can just go through what you're used to and get yourself done with it. Yeah. Okay, back to you, Mapalo.
Amazing. Thanks, Funmi. Thanks, Oluchi. It's been an amazing time on this particular launch. I'm excited to go and train some models. I'm also excited to see in the upcoming months the rental GPUs for Zambia also popping up. And it's exciting that we have people on the call today being witness on this journey that's starting today. Right. And it would be great. Please make sure you guys sign up on the platform. Another thing is that when you fill in the code, when you fill in the form, there will be the team that will be allocating some resources, free GPU credits, as well for you to be able to go ahead and just really experiment with the platform. And I encourage you to be as experimental. You never know just how earning this skill first will put you in a better advantage. I'm a strong believer in the fact that there are people who start, what we call early adopters, eh? The people who are in the room at the right time before others are where it's happening. And then there are people who hear about something when everyone else is rushing to it. Trust me, you want to be in the earlier one, right? Because then you'll be the ones that companies might be contracting to say, hey, we need to be able to do this. We have a mandate to do it on sovereign soil, but we need developers that know how to process and connect to GPUs in the current country or within African space. And you will have that information beforehand, and make sure you utilize this advantage being gained today. A few couple of things is that you can be able to have access to the platform, and we will also be able to share the recording to those who had registered via the link so that you can watch the demo again. I would really just go back and hear something that you wanted to refresh. So we'll be able to have a follow-on email to those who registered via Luma on the link. Also, follow BongoHive, follow us on our socials, follow BongoHive AI Lab. Make sure to do that so that you are first to hear about new things coming up. We want to do a follow-on hackathon from here. So it would be very important that if you do follow BongoHive, follow Alliance for AI, follow Udu Technologies on all our social medias channels so that you can be able to hear about it. I mean, we want to put something good together so that we can actually run a hackathon on this compute that's being introduced and growing on the platform. And also just a call to those of you within the ecosystem, whether you are part of government, whether you are in industry, or you are faculty at a university or within decision-making spaces, that, let's come together, and support this particular agenda, right, to be able to see more GPUs growing on local soil, especially also accessing the resources being made available to us, and being able to encourage whether it's our students in universities to be able to begin to learn and acquire the skills to do this locally. Let's be able to put hands together. The AI lab is also always open, and so Alliance for AI and Udu Technologies, for people reaching out with ideas, partnerships, whatever you have. There are channels to reach us on emails, data@bongohive.co.zm, and other particular email channels that have been made available. So please make sure that you reach out if you want to sponsor developers on this platform to actually be able to do amazing stuff. You have projects in mind. This is a call to you as well to get in touch and get involved, and would be happy to hear from you. Also, just to appreciate the people who've made this possible, the organizations. Very grateful to Udu Technologies and the Alliance for AI for having this mission, and pursuing it. It's organizations like yours that make not just certain parts of the world better, but all parts of the world better by thinking through inclusion. And we as BongoHive are happy to partner with you on such an agenda. We're happy to launch this with you. We're happy to see the people excited with us on the call, who are the most important people on the call, especially our attendees who've spared the time to listen and be part of this. So thank you to everyone who's been part of this call. Make sure that you also go ahead and apply for your free access. There's a QR code that's on the screen as well. Make sure that you do apply for your free access for the GPU. Please go ahead and enjoy that. I'll leave this for a bit before I change the screen. But please go ahead and take a screenshot. Make sure that you are filling the form today so that this can be allocated to you and you get to play around with it and see how that maybe to give an advantage when we do the hackathon going forward. So thanks again to everyone that's been part of this call. For any follow-on questions, feel free to reach out to us via our email lines on our website. You'll be able to find those. And I appreciate the moderators and the panelists on the call. If there's any final words that you'd like to say, maybe I'll ask Maria if you've got any final words, or Funmi or Oluchi, what would you then say to everyone on the call as we bid adieu? In maybe just 30 seconds. Any final words? Your final words of wisdom.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. moderating this panel, and I'm really, really, really excited and looking forward to the new AI solutions we should be able to create in Zambia using the Africa GPU Hub. I'll just hand over to Fumi,
Yes.
and then Maria, if she can.
Okay, so from my end, and we have a question in the chat though. Someone is asking for the link to the QR code. I don't know if we can drop it in the chat for them.
Okay, so let's leave the QR code on screen for a bit, so we can give everybody enough time to. Let's just leave it till the
Yeah,
end
so
of the.
I figured that some people might be joining with probably with their phones and they're unable to scan. So if there is a link that we can share in the chat, I think people would appreciate that.
Okay, so I'll just work on that. I'll send.
Okay, thank you.
So we can
Anyways,
proceed with.
yeah. So thank you everyone for joining. I think this has been a very productive session. And personally, I've learned a lot from what Mapolo has shared, from what Maria has shared, from the questions that were asked. And it is very important that we keep these conversations going, and not just conversations for conversation's sake, but conversations that actually lead us to take practical steps to changing the AI situation on the continent. Because now everybody's saying, how do we join? How do we join? Now you know how to join. So don't be told again. Like, you know how to join, you know where to find the resources. You can wonderfully tag along with BongoHive AI Lab. Go there, go see what they're doing, go see what people are building, collaborate with people. Now you have all the resources at your disposal. Please build, I beg you. Thank you.
Okay, so next will be Maria, if Maria is still on the call.
I think she's having network issues, so I don't think she's able to make it.
Okay, so let's try to share the link, the registration link on the chat. Please let me know if someone has been able to do that.
All right, so I've just dropped the link on chat for everyone.
Okay. Someone says that link is directing them to the wrong platform.
I think it goes to BG, then they have to press continue to site. But maybe I should just take the final destination. Perhaps that will make it easier for someone who's not used the bit the link before.
Yeah, I think
we just share the direct link as well just now. So that everyone can have. All right, so I've also dropped the final destination link on the platform.
All right. Thank you everyone for engaging.
All right, so thank you for engaging. I wish you a lovely rest of the day. We'll keep the call live for just the next 1 minute in case you need to take a screenshot, but you don't need to remain on the call. And thank you all to the panelists. You've been amazing. Wishing you all a lovely rest of the day.
All right, thank you. No, I'm not. Bye.